Welcome to the Embarcadero Community Weekly Webcast for March 9th, 2015. I'm David I, and let's take a look at what's happening in the Embarcadero community. Here we are at the homepage of the community. You'll see featured articles, upcoming events, the Q&A area, and latest news showing up in the bottom left-hand corner. You'll also see new users that have joined the community. And down at the bottom, you'll see activity streams and also links to latest news, tutorials, tips, database products, application development products, the corporate site, and so on. Here on the news page, we get to it by clicking under Articles, News. We'll see a few new items, in particular, Rad Studio XE7 note about 12 amazing features you need to see now. This is a list of capabilities in Rad Studio XE7, Delphi XE7, C++ Builder XE7. And under each of the 12 points, there's information and links to a video about each of these new capabilities. Also, by clicking on the events heading from the home page, you'll be taken to the events page. And here we have information about upcoming events, both live in person and online. Every Tuesday, we continue our skill sprints. This Tuesday, March 10th, we'll be previewing the proximity awareness capability using beacons in Rad Studio, Delphi, and C++ Builder. On Thursday, we'll cover in-memory datasets. And on Friday, in the Technology Partner Spotlight, we'll have Nostis talking about their PDF and document tools. If you click on each of the links, you can get to the registration page. There's also an upcoming database event on Tuesday, March 17th. These are the data you are looking for. Click the Register Now button. You'll get to the registration page. And it's Karen Lopez will share her tips and insights on working through the data challenges for business analysts. And Josh Buckner will share a solution to address those concerns. Every other Thursday, we have an ER Studio Best Practices demo. You can register and join at 11 o'clock each Thursday and get a live demonstration of ER Studio. And in alternating Thursdays, DB Power Studio. As I mentioned, the developer skill sprints take place on Tuesdays. There's live sessions every Tuesday. And on the registration page, you'll see information about the upcoming topics. On Thursdays, the FireDAC developer skill sprints. And as I mentioned this week, in-memory datasets. And again, you can see the schedule of the different topics through the end of this month. And every Friday, an Embarcadero Technology Partner Spotlight. Last week, we had Metoff software, and this upcoming week, we'll have Nostis software. We also have a couple of recent webinars that have now changed to on-demand webinars. One is the Rad in Action Revolutionary UI Development with Fire UI, and also another on-demand webinar, the Rad in Action Build Connected Apps with Bluetooth and App Tethering. So you can register and watch the replay of both of those on-demand webinars. Last month, we had our Delphi Week 2015, a celebration of everything Delphi. We have a playlist for Delphi Week with many of the conversations and demonstrations that took place during the week. So there's a playlist that you can see. Just search for Delphi Week 2015 or go to the Embarcadero YouTube channel and click on the playlist for Delphi Week 2015. And you'll see the different conversations that took place, including conversations with members of the team and with some of our MVPs. Also looking at 20 years of innovation for Delphi, as well as some of our customers showing how they use Delphi. We had a conversation with Lars, and he showed their critical information systems application that is used in intensive care units and other critical care departments inside of hospitals. We also had Anders Olsen talking about Wide Orbit's use of Delphi. Wide Orbit, a company that does ad tracking and ad scheduling for radio stations, cable TV, TV stations around the world. Conversations with the Interbase team, with the Rad Studio engineering management team, a conversation with Serena DuPont talking about user interface and user experience using our products. A conversation with Nick Hodges, the author of Coding in Delphi and the creator of the T-Smiley component. With Carrie Jensen talking about his use of Delphi, about Delphi Developer Days, and his client datasets second edition book is available now. We also had Marco Cantu in the studio here during Delphi Week, and he did a session called The Fun Side of Delphi, where he showed all sorts of interesting and cool things you could do. And Jim McKee showed us how he built the CodeMonkey application and played the CodeMonkey video that was created using his software and the music. So check out all the sessions that took place during Delphi Week using the playlist on the Embarcadero YouTube channel. We have members of the community and of the Embarcadero team blogging. So we go to the blogs menu item on the Embarcadero community, and you'll see some of the recent blog articles. Looks like Pavel was in the Netherlands showing developers how to build applications live in action, and then they could use their mobile devices to interact with the mobile application. Let's take a look at a few of the articles. Here's an article written by Tamarin, which shows you how to convert a list of identifiers into SQL statements. Mohammed is one of our expert consultants, the Embarcadero Database Management Tools product line, and he's got a article here that talks about the ER Studio Team Server REST Application Programming Interface, or API, which allows an application to talk to another application directly and securely. So you can check out his blog post, and also he's got links to ER Studio Enterprise Team Edition and further details about the API. Let's click here. And here's information in the Embarcadero Doc Wiki for Team Server ER Studio, which has the API reference for the REST interface. Stephen Ball last week did Interbase XE7 Change Views Developer Skill Sprint, and he's done a blog post with the demo and a link to the video replay of his skill sprint. Mohammed also posted an article about an upcoming event in London on March 19th. It is called Big Data, Debunking Some of the Myths and Unlocking Value. It's going to have a guest speaker, Chris Swan, who's the CTO of Cohesive Networks, a cloud networking company. And it's going to be a breakfast briefing that you can register for. So go and look at Mohammed's blog and go to the Register Now link. And down here is the agenda for the event, starting at 8:30 with registration and breakfast, tea and coffee, and then the briefing and Q&A. Brian Alexakis has written a blog article about preview look at the upcoming multi-device preview. There's a short little video as well as screenshots that show you when you're working on different multi-device form factors to show you what it will look like on all the different device form factors that you have installed and set up as part of the ID, including a Moto 360 watch, Google Glass, different iPhone form factors, and Android and desktop form factors. And here is a larger view of the same thing. So check out Brian's preview blog post of a capability that's coming up in the future, the multi-device preview window. Mohammed has also written a blog post called Big Data Support using DB Artisan and Rapid SQL. And he's got this article that shows you a little bit about connecting to Hadoop. And he was using the Apache Hadoop Hive layer and support for object browsing and SQL querying through the Hive QL. So check that out in his blog post. In the answers section of the Embarcadero community, members of the community post questions, and members of the community and the Embarcadero team post answers with solutions and links. You can also, when you're logged in, post your own answers, make comments, and vote for your favorite answers. So let's take a look at some of the recent questions and answers. Han asks, does C++ Builder XE7 support OpenSSL for Android? He's noted that in the help document, he saw XE7 support for OpenSSL for iOS. And on the Object Pascal side, you just include the headers in your project file. Android already ships with OpenSSL, so you can just use it. And I also posted a note with a couple of links that we use OpenSSL under the covers as part of our backend as a service connection to systems like Parse, Convey, App42, and our own EMS. And that there's a couple of documents in our doc wiki, one about creating an iOS app with OpenSSL, and also another doc wiki entry about securing Indie network connections. So in the OpenSSL support, it mentions about iOS device and what you need to do in the iOS tutorial, creating an app. On the securing Indie network connections, talks about OpenSSL for Windows, 32-bit and 64-bit. For Mac OS X and Android, your application does not need to meet any prerequisite. The required OpenSSL libraries are all already available with those operating systems. The only other note to mention is that there's some additional information that when you want to create a C++ application, there is a linker option for link with SSL and crypto to set that to true. So for C++ developers, check out the linker options. Gary asks, can T-Media Player play media streams? And it doesn't directly. It will connect and play videos that it can get to. On some devices and desktops, if you've got a YouTube app installed, it'll just launch the video with the YouTube app. Otherwise, Eli is mentioning that he recommends a third-party FFmpeg wrapper for this purpose, and there's a player Android Delphi component that you can use on the Android system. And here's the link here. It's by Flash AV Software Corp, and it's got the Android Delphi component. Luca was asking about memory footprint on Android. He wanted to know about how much memory was used inside of your application. And Eli mentions that you can build a bare bones application that doesn't use any FireMonkey, and then you've got probably the smallest application that you can build. But if you really want the full support of the FireMonkey framework, then you'll want to build a FireMonkey application for the multi-platforms, giving you one code base and the UI support. While you're comparing memory utilization for a sort of empty app, a form with a button, the style system and FireMonkey framework is being linked into your application. And as you use parts of and more of FireMonkey, your application doesn't really grow that much other than the logic of your own application. So you get the FireMonkey system, the style system, the runtime library linked in, and then you can continue to add functionality to your app. So Luca, don't be worried. You're building an application for Android. It's fully featured, fully functional. If you want database access, then that gets added as part of your application. But you want the benefits of FireMonkey. It's one code base, same application running on Windows, OS X, iOS, and Android. Lots of benefits to using the FireMonkey framework. Same code across all platforms. Luca also asked about, he's using the notifications, and he wanted to know if there was a way to know that the user dismissed or closed the notifications instead of clicking on it. And there's no built-in support for the user dismissing a push notification. Of course, your application could log if notifications are actually handled by the application. You'll get a notification call that you can hook if your application is closed, if it's in the background, or if it's active on the front. So you could keep track of notifications that your application did receive inside of the application and do something, maybe store the notification receipt back in a cloud service, for example, and then take a look and see if there were any notifications that the app didn't receive. And those would be notifications that either weren't sent for some reason or that were dismissed by the user. And then Luca finally was asking about duplicated images in a form. If you put down T-image components on the form and you associate images with them, then those images are going to be duplicated. Better would be, and Serena talks about this, to use an image and load a file into it, a T-image instance in memory. That way the memory, it's only in memory once, and then you can assign or associate that image in memory with the T-image component on the form. You can use T-bitmap assign to take the other images to it, and then only one instance of the T-image is in memory. And he points you to a DocWiki entry on T-bitmap assign in FMX graphics. And finally, I just want to remind you of all the special offers that are going on for Rad Studio XE7, Delphi XE7, and C++ Builder XE7. If you upgrade or purchase Enterprise, we'll give you 10 user Enterprise Mobility Services, EMS, for free for deployment. The free bonus pack, which has Marco Cantu's Object Pascal Handbook, custom premium styles, has the Meta converter, and the Castalia for Delphi plugin for the IDE. We also have the buy one, get one free, so that you can, when you purchase or upgrade, you can go out after you've registered and find a product of equal or lesser value. If you're on older versions, of our products. You can still get the upgrade price if you also add update subscription to your order. And finally, if you're upgrading or purchasing XE 7, we'll give you update subscription so that you'll get the next major release for free. And all of the details for these special offers, if you scroll down or click on the links, are down below. And so you can see all the different offers and the terms and conditions for each one of them. And that's it for this week's Embarcadero Community Webcast. As always, these replays will appear on the Webcast playlist on the Embarcadero YouTube channel. Also, you can go to my blog, David I. Sip from the Fire Hose. And on my blog, I post articles with all the links that I discuss in the webcast each week. So here for last week's webcast, you'll find all the links that were covered in the video for answers, blogs, articles, special offers, and so on. And the playlist link down here at the bottom for all of the webcasts. And we'll see you again next week on the Embarcadero Community Webcast. Have a great time programming, and we'll see you soon.